Welcome to the Unshakable Growth. I'm Esti, and let's get started. Welcome back to the Unshakable Growth, the podcast where we dive into stories and strategies that empower you to grow, build confidence, and navigate life with resilience and positivity. Today, I'm excited to introduce Sandy, a dedicated personal development and mindfulness coach with a mission to help people to find peace and calm in their daily lives. Whether you are feeling overwhelmed or just looking for ways to stay present, Sandy's insights are bound to inspire you. Now, let's dive in. Welcome to my podcast, Sandy.
Well, thank you, Esti, for having me.
Glad to have you here today. Sandy, can you introduce yourself a little bit?
Yes, of course. So, yes, I am Sandy Powell. I'm located in Melbourne, Florida. But if you hear a little bit of an accent, I was actually born and raised in Germany and moved here in 2008. Yes, as you correctly stated, I'm a personal development coach and a mindfulness teacher. And yes, I'm helping my clients to find more peace and calm in their lives and also, become more clear of what their life should look like so they can have a more happier life.
Oh, I'm just wondering what inspires you to become a personal development and mindfulness teacher or coach, should I say?
Yeah, well, mindfulness has been a total game changer in my life.
Mhm.
And so I just wanted to share with others, right? It helped me transform my life. And well, obviously a lot of people then were asking, what were you doing? How has everything changed? So I was talking about it and people were like, oh my gosh, this is so great. And I was sharing things. So then people were always giving me the feedback of like, hey, you should, you should do this. Like, this is something that lights you up and people don't know about it. Like, people know about mindfulness because you hear about it, but how to really integrate it, how to do it, apply it in your life, like not many people do know that or
Yeah.
practice it. So I really feel like there's a niche and there's a need for people to hear about it more. It's such a simple concept, but it's so powerful, and I really just want more people to use it.
Uh, Interesting, because just now you mentioned about something about change. I'm just wondering what was that pivotal moment that changed you, or something happened back in your previous life that makes you change?
Ah, yeah, like I said, mindfulness really transformed my life, like in more ways than I can count. Right?
Mhm.
I mean, it's been a few years now, but it's basically shaped in so many ways. But first and foremost, it shaped my relationship with myself.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
Like better emotional regulation, better balance, more calm, more peace, more happiness. And I have stronger relationship with the people around me. Um, just improved my health. I lost the baby weight. I can sleep better. I mean, there's just so many things, but I guess if you want to have like a very specific example, I just was really in a dark space a couple of years back, not knowing what to do next, where to turn to next. And that's when I found mindfulness. And it really, like it really just helped me like find some like a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. And I just needed to protect and grow that. Like I was totally out of touch with myself and what I wanted, what I truly needed, I guess, right?
Mhm.
And mindfulness has helped me with that, rediscover that, reignite that bond between me, myself, and I. Uh, and yeah, another thing too, like I really wanted to find emotional regulation. I wanted to um, reduce emotional outbursts like yelling
Mhm.
at my daughter and stuff, or yelling in general when I get
Mhm.
frustrated or angry at my husband with my
Mhm.
family. Like it was like a big thing. And when I was growing up, there was a lot of loud conversations, and the person that yelled the loudest was heard, kind of thing. And so I was, for the longest time, I was like reading, development books and, emotional intelligence books, anger management. I mean, like everything, right? Just to try to kind of, what can I do to, like to change that around? And nothing really helped, because most of the books were talking about like, I need to pause and before I react, right? And I was triggered in so many ways, I could never find that pause button. So like by the time I got there, I was like, boom, right? Like, so like there's all these things like, oh, you should snap yourself with a thing, or like you should
Oh,
count to 10 and do this and that and that. And like I said, none of that worked until I found mindfulness. Because like mindfulness, I felt like now looking back at it, it was like more like a band-aid, right? I was trying to put a band-aid on myself, on the emotional outburst was basically a reaction to me not being connected to myself, me not taking good care of myself, right? So when I found mindfulness, I finally, did that. And I did finally install that button, that pause button that makes me, more calm. And I can choose to respond and, not yell, not
yeah,
outburst. I mean, not
yeah,
like, not ever, but like very, so much turned down. So,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
definitely. Can you share with me a little bit on what is the differences between mindfulness and the previous techniques that you were using, like the pause, um, give yourself a snap, those kind of um, actions that you might have done in mindfulness? Just to give a little bit context on what mindfulness is and how does it look like.
Right. Well, so mindfulness, right, is the practice of staying in the present, staying aware, and becoming aware of your thoughts, emotions, feelings, body sensations, and without judgment. Which I think that part is usually the tough part, because we're so gracious with how we treat others, and oh, it's okay to feel frustrated and angry and blah. We tell that to our children too, right? But we're not easy to accept it about ourselves. For us, it has a negative connotation. And you're like, oh, I shouldn't be angry, and then you push it away, and then you're ashamed, or like you're feeling bad about being angry, or you having yelled or whatever. And that then becomes more problematic as you kind of down spiral. It doesn't make it any better. So what mindfulness has helped me with was really realizing that feelings are feelings, and like everybody has them, and it's okay to have any single one of those feelings, because it shows you, right? Like if you're angry, well, there's something that you're unhappy about, and that's okay, right? Or like you're frustrated with a situation, and that is okay. Like it's really just a data point for you, right? Like to look into it and be like, hey, what happened here? Like, and how can I
Yeah.
maybe look into it to make it better in the future? So so mindfulness has really helped then with that connection, right? And again, the before I didn't have, people were always talking about, you choose how to respond, but I never found that moment in time that like I didn't even realize, I was so disconnected from myself, I didn't realize how quickly how basically how quickly how close I was to exploding. That's what I'm looking for. How close I was to exploding, right? These days I can already tell I'm in tune, right? And I'm checking in with myself more regularly. So I already know, like, oh, it's a stressful day. I already need to, lighten the load or something, right? Like at some point and stuff like that, or like already like feel, things bottling up and stuff, which I didn't know. Like I was like, oh, I'm going along with my day, da 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 da, and then I get home and do you know what I mean? Like I didn't realize
Yeah.
all the steps, all the different pieces, like me bottling up. And yes, I knew that I maybe had a stressful day, but like you never knew what would set me off. Do you know what I mean? Like it was
Yeah.
like almost like a mystery, and mindfulness helped me demystify it,
Oh,
become more clear of like, what am I feeling, and really check in with myself more regularly, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I was very stressed. I had a lot of responsibilities and I was just going on with my life. And before I knew it, the day was gone and I was, sitting on Netflix and watching and be pooped and whatever. And like, I didn't really take the time to look and be like, okay, how was I feeling today? Or what was I
Mm,
feeling most of the last couple of weeks or something? And how
yeah.
is that something that I want to continue or do I want to change that? Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
So
really interesting. I think it's important that we always check in with ourselves at that moment that we are not feeling right. Don't bottle it up and explode at the end of the day. And it will then harm your family members in a way, emotionally, like you will hurt them with the emotional
yeah,
outbursts.
I mean, you hurt yourself and others. And it's
Yeah.
really important to remember that you can only show up as best as you feel yourself. Do you know what I mean? Like if
Mm,
you take
yeah.
good care of yourself, then you can present it. Your cup is full and then you can pour with someone else. You can show up for your children. You can show up with your husband. You can show up with your friends and family, your coworkers in a
Yeah.
better way.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Wow, that's interesting. Just wondering also, so now that you are a personal development and a mindfulness coach, what makes you decide to start coaching? Is it based on your past experience or what was that, you know, that spark that makes you want to coach?
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I mindfulness was really transformed my life and
Mm-hmm.
I yeah, a lot of people were asking me about it. Like they saw the differences and I also just didn't want to go back to the previous life I had. I had changed it around and arranged it the way I wanted it and I wanted to continue on that path and was looking for a new career. And yes, when people were reflecting that back to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was helpful. Yeah, the encouragement to be like, okay, how can I turn my mess into my message and use it to help others? Because, like I said, I've really come across so many people struggling, and they're all like, "Oh yeah, mindfulness, okay, uh huh." But then when you ask, like, "Hey, what does it mean? How do you implement it?" and things like that, they're like, "Oh." Because like it's such a buzzword, like people know about it, but not many people implement it or know how to implement it. So
Yeah.
I feel like it's a niche that really needs some more exploring, some more people out there to get it out and help people turn their life around because
Mm,
it's really helpful.
yeah. And it's really interesting that you just now mentioned about not many people know how to implement it and what to implement. Can you give me some examples, small examples of how would you um, suggest for people that want to start mindfulness?
Right. Yeah, so the good thing about mindfulness is like it can really fit into any schedule. It's very versatile, right? It can like you can just get started like you can put it into any schedule. You can really start with mindful eating, mindful brushing teeth, mindful taking a
Oh,
mindful shower, right? Which
wow.
means like you're really just showering, right? Like the thing is a lot of people, right? Like a lot of times you're like showering and you're like, oh, and I need to do this and I need to do that and I need to do this and or like, oh my god, I didn't sleep well or I'm thinking about this and stuff, right? So like really taking that back and just more like focusing on, okay, I'm in the shower and oh, that feels so nice, this warm water or whatever, right? Like trying to stay focused on that present moment versus
Mhm.
getting all stressed out about the future tasks that you have to do. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mm.
And then of course you can expand that, like you can put like 5, 10, 15 minutes into it and do like a meditation practice or a breathing exercise, a reflective journaling, a grounding exercise. There's right mindful walking. I mean, there's so many things that you can do, which is why I'm saying it's such a nice thing to do. It's so versatile. Like you could do it, if you're introvert or extrovert or you're like a calm person or like and then like, have a lot of energy or you're young, you're old, like there's there's a bit of mindfulness exercise that will fit whoever is trying to use it, you know. And the thing too, like my daughter just turned 4 last week, and I've been using mindfulness with her, you know, just to show like she's been doing yoga since an itty bitty little mouse, right? Ever since
Wow.
I do it, like she always tried to do it, you know, flip yourself upside down, try downward dog, or like
That's so
we
cute.
do, you know, talk about our feelings, acknowledge those feelings, you know, like, and how can we manage them better? How can we, you know, what is a good way to respond to anger? It's okay to be angry and things like that, right? We do the mindful breathing exercise like, every night before bed. Like she's actually starting it to do it by herself. We even have like a little
Oh,
app sometimes too. And she's like asking, oh yeah, can we do another meditation with Ufosu?
oh, that's so
So it's
cute.
really, there's really just no limit, basically. You can implement it at any stage, at any time. You're never too young, too old to get the benefit of, you know, starting your mindfulness practice.
Yeah. And it's really good that you said that anyone can implement that. And I know that nowadays, a lot of people are so busy with their life, with
Mhm.
work, um, family, things happening all around them. How can they actually implement that into their daily routine? I know that just now I really like the one that you mentioned. Oh, we do a mindful shower, mindful teeth brushing. So other than that, what can the busy people incorporate mindfulness?
Ah, yeah, there's so many exercises. I usually ask my clients, right, like what is their life like, and what do they want to get out of, and how much time can they actually, you know, really commit to the mindfulness practice. But I think a good way to start is really, I like the mindful check-in, right, where you just kind of, yeah, like like you look at, you know, how am I feeling mentally, right? Like let's just say you wake up in the morning, right, and you just have a quick check. Okay, how do I feel? Do I feel like excited or calm, or am I already stressed out? Today's going to be a busy day, kind of thing, right? Like just kind
Yeah.
of where's your head at. And then also do that with your body. Like, hey, oh my gosh, today I feel full of energy, or oh my God, I feel sore, or I feel in pain, you know, like just kind of checking, you know, where's the body at? Like things like that is a good way to start, because like I said, we're so busy. We're just kind of taking our body, ourselves, so for granted. We're just kind of
Yeah.
hopping out of bed and going with our day. And so, you know, that mindfulness, that moment of check-in, hey, how do I feel today? And like I said, those are data points. So if you already know, you checked in with yourself and you're like, oh, you know, today I'm tired, or hey, I'm cramping, I don't know, I'm sore from yesterday, then that's a good point then to say, hey, maybe I have to take it slow today, right? Like I have to
Yeah.
take care of myself. I may have to sit down more, rest more. How can I incorporate this into my day a bit more calm and peace and quiet? Or
Yeah.
like I feel totally energetic and I'm like, oh my God, I've been pushing off this project. Today is the day I'm going to do that because I'm pumped,
Yeah.
you know?
Definitely. Definitely. It's really important to listen to your own body and how you feel about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And another good thing to start with is gratitude, a gratitude exercise. I like to do that at nights before I fall asleep, right? Just kind of remembering the day. I do that with my daughter as well. Like what was going on today and what was your favorite kind of thing. And what are we thankful for, you know?
Yeah.
And I remember there was a time in my life I was really struggling finding things to be thankful for. But over time, you know, I shifted my focus and really found the even tiniest things. And, you know, like, oh my God, this pretty sunset, that meal, that conversation, that hug, I don't know. There's so many things to be thankful for, right?
Yeah.
Even
That's true.
having your house, having food. There's so many things. So yes, shifting that focus around more
Mm-hmm.
to gratitude and thankfulness is also a big game changer and a good
Yeah.
start.
Wow. That's good to hear.
And of course, the other things, you know, like a mindful breathing exercise, they're like everywhere, right? You
Mm-hmm.
can do a body scan, you can do a meditation, you know, and just kind of see how it feels. I think the thing to remember is you want to be curious. You just want to explore. And like, yeah, mindfulness is really like it deepens, and the benefits you come into full power the more you do it. So, the more you put in, the more you get out. You want to
Yeah.
spend maybe 5 minutes of mindful breathing, or do an exercise, do a meditation, do some yoga, like anything that feels good to you, right? Or journaling, and really just try out different things and see which one feels best to you. Because, like, right, for me, it might be the breathing exercise, and for you, it might be the journaling that you like best, and really go, yeah, just like I said, go on a little adventure and feel into what yeah, what floats your boat, what you feel best with, and then just kind of go with that and explore from there, and just kind of, give it a try, give it a whirl for 30 days or something, try it out, and yeah, maybe try
Yeah.
something new afterwards. Just to
Yeah,
kind of,
that's
broaden those tools, because, just because today was good with the writing doesn't mean tomorrow when you're exploding or something, you might need a different tool then. So I always like to, have a lot of different tools that I present with my clients, so they can really try it out and really get a feel for, like, oh yeah, this feels good here, this feels good there, and just kind of, yeah,
yeah.
explore.
That's really good to explore new things and see how your body or your feelings are adapting to these new things. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just wondering, are we able to measure the progress in mindfulness practice? Is there a way for us to measure that, or is just a gut feel of mindfulness
um
practice?
it's such a good question, because I get that a lot. Like, when can I expect results? Right? People want to see results. um, and yes, of course, you can see immediate results, right? Like after you do a meditation or like a mindful breathing exercise, you do feel reduced stress and you feel more calm, right? But like I mentioned before, like it's more of a long game, like, and the benefits become more and more the longer you do it, right? Like, it's really, yeah, like if you do it for, like, let's say like 3 months or something, like, or let's just say for a few weeks, right? You can already tell, like, oh, I can, I have a better awareness of myself. I can check in with myself better and stuff like that. And maybe I feel more connected with myself, and then maybe also with others, because I can, pinpoint my emotions better and my feelings and what I need, convey that better.
Yeah.
You might even like sleep better, because we're, like you do a few better, you change your routine around, and you might do that grateful, thankful exercise before bed, and things like that. But then let's say after like 3 months or a year, right? Like things will really have progressed. And then, you might be seeing that stronger, that deeper awareness of yourself, and stronger relationships, better communication, better health. Because, like, that rat race, that constant stress, right, is pumping up in your heart. So after a while, yes, of peace and calm, like, you can really reduce even your blood pressure. You can reduce, like, weight. You can do so many things, like increase your focus, your mental benefits, like, clarity, memory, even. You have better improve your immunity, your resilience to weather whatever comes at you, because you have
Yeah.
mastered, right, like how to stay calm and how to how to stay within that situation. Another thing too, yes, people, when they come to me, they a lot of times they want control. They want to manage their life better. They want more control. And a lot of times it's control over others. Like, like, I don't like how my husband is responding, or my coworkers, and I don't like traffic, and this is stressing me out, and this and this and this. And the first thing then I tell them is, right, like, we need to shift that. It's you cannot control others. The only thing you can control is yourself, right? That's a big concept. That's a big thing for people, right? Because, like,
Yeah.
a lot of times when we get so stressed, we want to, and it becomes that spiral too, like where you're, and that and that and that is wrong, and that is wrong, and that is wrong. And mindfulness then invites us to come back to the center and be like, okay, this is stressful. Like, traffic, sitting in traffic every day is stressful, or like even in the moment, like, this is stressing out. But why is that, right? Like, really questioning it. Okay, like, is it because I am too busy? Like, I have to get somewhere, or I am hungry, or I'm, whatever it is. And then take that and be like, oh,
Mhm.
okay, maybe I need to manage my time better so I don't get stressed out. Or maybe I am bored sitting in traffic. So maybe I can listen to an audiobook or something. Or maybe I do need to pack a snack so I don't get hangry while I'm stuck in traffic. Things like that.
Mhm.
Like people don't, that's what I'm saying. Like it's such simple things, but most people don't really think about it. They're just kind of complaining and they get
Yeah.
more into it, and it becomes becomes that much bigger ball, of
Yeah.
frustration. And mindfulness
Mhm.
really helps us to take that back down to like, okay, we were stuck in traffic for 2 hours. It sucked. But how can we change that around? Is that something that's going to occur regularly? Can we change our driving time? Can we do something about it?
Yeah.
Just like, that conversation with the coworker or that conversation with the husband could be, how can we make that better? Or my kid is not
Mhm.
listening. I have to yell before it's listening. How can I change that? What can I do to fix that? Right? Like, can I
Yeah.
go down on eye level? Can I change how I say things? Right? Or can I provide some support? Maybe they're like, clean up your room is not sufficient enough, right? Like for a 2-year-old. So maybe, right, you do need to go in there and be like, okay, let's clean up together. Let's do this, blah,
Mhm.
blah. So like, again, it helps with getting those data points, slowing down and really getting the information, and then gain that awareness, gain that reflection, which then helps you, make different choices. Like, how can I
Mhm.
make this better in the future?
Yeah.
And if it worked out well, and you're like, oh yeah, let's practice more mindfulness, like a cycle. Then you know what I mean? You're like,
Mhm.
okay, let's do more mindfulness. Oh, I gain more insight. Oh, I can understand better. I can reflect better. And then, oh, what can I take from this? How can I make this better? Ha, yes. So
Yeah.
it becomes a
That
good,
that makes so
good cycle.
much point. That makes so much point because I guess a lot of people just those little tiny things they just slip their mind, and sometimes also because we are in our shoes for such a long time, and sometimes we just need to stand in other people's shoe, put ourselves in other people's shoes, shift that point of view to see different things from different angle, which can provide solutions or make your life a little bit better.
So true. Yes.
Yeah. And just wondering, because now that you are doing this coaching program, for our listeners out there who would be interested to, to join your program, how can they reach out to you? Which are the main platforms that they should look into your work?
Yeah, yeah. So if you would like to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram. I think it's Sandy Powell 108, and on Facebook, Sandy S Powell 108.
I'll attach the links for your social media platforms in my description. But yes,
Yeah.
Instagram, Facebook, and you said YouTube just now?
Yes, so I also have a YouTube channel where I share some mindfulness practices. I also have a podcast that's shared on the channel.
Yeah.
And there's also more information about the program if anybody is interested in finding out more
Mhm.
and getting started with some mindfulness.
How does the
Yes.
program look like?
Oh, it's
How?
a 12-week program.
Mhm.
So each week we meet and I share a lesson, we do some exercises, like I said. And yeah, it's a really great program because you don't have to spend hours and hours and try and find things online and on the internet. And it's a lot of times it's a group coaching or a single coaching, however we can make it with the time. But it helps because you have someone there with you, right? Like a lot of times you're like, oh my god, I'm not doing this right, or I'm struggling, or like, I do give homework, right? Because like we're trying out new exercises, and then you're
Mhm.
supposed to, right, try them out and implement them yourself, and then it's always good to have like a little reminder, a little coach that's cheering you on, like sending you this message, hey, how did it go? And hey, did you do your exercise? And just kind of also have someone to talk to, like while you're struggling, or like, hey, this really didn't work well for me, or I've noticed this and that. Is this normal?
Mhm.
So there's just been a whole lot of conversation, and I just love connecting with my clients on all those different topics. Yes, and how their life really improved, right? Like I've had
Yeah.
a client, he he was always very bothered by what the coworkers talked about while he was at
Mhm.
work, like like politics and things like that. And
Ah.
it always get him so hyped up. And so we talked about, like, can you remove yourself or can you tune out? Like, like, because like he couldn't really leave, like, because he's a mechanic. Well, there's like lots of little stations, and you overhear what other people do if you want to. But over time, like really, he was able to like step away and take breaths and things like that, or even like tune them out. Like over time, I was like, hey, those are their views, those are their things. That's with them. Leave them. Do you? Like, it's nothing to do with you. Like, you have a different view. That is fine. You can only do you.
Yeah.
you know, everybody has a different opinion on everything, so
Yeah.
that's okay. Right? You don't have to
Yes.
agree with everybody. You just have to, keep your inner calm when something is in disagreement with you, right? You can choose.
Yeah.
And
That's so
so
true.
yeah, a long time later, and now he's doing so much better. And we were just reflecting on, oh my gosh, do you remember a year ago how we were talking about this? Because I was sharing my notes, and I was like, oh my God, look, this is what we were talking about a year ago. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy.
Yeah. Sometimes
Yes.
it's really good to always, look back to where have you started
Yes.
and where are you now? Because you can see that huge improvement in yourself, like how you change as a
Oh yeah.
person as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. And once you change, you invite that change with others too, right? Because I had a lot of people were asking me, "Oh my gosh, you're so so much happier and so much this, and look at your weight and look at this, and how did you do it?" No,
Wow.
it's been nice
Yeah.
sharing my journey and sharing the mindfulness tips and tricks and exercises to help others to achieve more
Yeah.
happiness and peace and calm in their lives too.
Well, thank you so much, Sandy. It's such an amazing journey that you have been sharing with us, and some of the tips that you have in the breathing exercise, those mindfulness little things that you can do while doing your daily routine. So that's really amazing. Well, time
Yeah.
passed really quickly. That's a wrap for today's episode for the Unshakable Growth podcast. A big thank you once again to Sandy for sharing your wisdom on mindfulness and how it can empower us to live more balanced and purposeful life. If today's conversation resonated with you, our listeners out there, don't forget to take a moment to reflect and follow Sandy's social media, where I will put her link in my description below, in her social media platform where she shares tips on mindfulness. Remember, growth begins with small, mindful steps. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with someone who could use a little mindfulness in their day. Until next time, keep striving, keep growing, and stay unshakable. Thank you once again, Sandy. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Thanks for tuning in the Unshakable Growth. Stay unshakable, and I'll catch you in the next episode.